think, act, and prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
Hey, Sean, I'm glad to have you back on the channel.
It's great to be with you again, Daryl. Thank you.
Yeah, so last time we talked about power metals resources, and you all have some uranium projects. The price of uranium has broken over $70 a pound recently, and you all have some news that recently came out. And so I wanted to check in with you. You know, it's important for our investors to, for just investors in general, to keep up with the companies and what's going on. And so you had some recent news come out with your uranium project. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity to share that with the audience. So what's happening there?
Well, that's absolutely right, and thanks very much for bringing that up. And look, you're quite right about the uranium price. It's a very exciting commodity to be in, and that's why we've got a big investment in the uranium space. So your viewers might remember from our last talk that we've got over 1,000 square kilometers of license area, which is in and around the Athabasca Basin in Canada. So I'm sure your North American listeners will be familiar with that. It's the world's #1 address for uranium exploration, and we're very strongly underway at the moment with an exploration program to identify within that license area or that set of licenses some key exploration drill targets. So this is early stage work. It's typically geochemical soil sampling, for example, and some airborne magnetic surveys, and the idea of which is to establish where the best prospectivity is in our license area for later exploration drilling to prove out those resources. And the announcement that we put out today on that really is a continuation of the very strong progress we've been making in that regard. So, I mean, this season, the fieldwork season, has been amazing for us. I mean, it is well surpassed our expectations in terms not only of the quality of the targets, but also the number of them. And in this particular announcement, we talk about two particular projects, which are called Tate Hill and Soaring Bay, where we've done some extensive radon gas sampling at both projects, and you know, these have really come out well ahead of our expectations. So people will be familiar, people who follow mining may be familiar with what's called the Rossing deposit, which is in Namibia. It's one of the world's leading uranium deposits, and what we're talking about here are really sort of early stage results that show very significant geological similarities to Rossing. So that's a little bit for the specialist, but we're talking specifically about Tate Hill here. This is very exciting. So it's early days. Okay, we're not saying that we've made a uranium discovery per se, but what we have done is discovered some target areas which are highly prospective, which we are very excited about the opportunity to drill. So as far as I'm concerned, we're in the right commodity, uranium, and we're in the right address, which is this Athabasca Basin area.
Mm-hmm. And so when you're doing your sampling, drilling and such, like how big is the area, that Power Metals owns? I mean, because like right now you're hitting some high potential targets within the area you own, and so like to my understanding, you all own a specific amount of land or meters or whatever. I don't know how y'all measure it, but so that's exciting, especially if it's within a good range of land that you all own out there. So what does that kind of look like, just so we can have a another visual, of
yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's a very good point, because I mean, when we talk about 1,000 square kilometers of total license area, that's a huge amount of ground. Okay, I mean, if you look at take one example here, so in the the announcement today. So we talk about Soaring Bay, which was the other one where we found significant targets. So we found these what are called radon results, and this is this indicates radioactive decay, and this was over more than about 3 kilometers long. What's called a trending shear zone, so it's running northwest southwest, and that's a very large area if you think in terms of 3 kilometers, and there's also another zone within the same property where you've got about a kilometer extension from the main shear zone of interest. So these are pretty big areas, but they do vary. Obviously, some of the license areas are bigger than others. Obviously, and we're very heavily dependent on our geophysical and geochemical teams to do the requisite field work so that we can identify those targets and maximize the opportunity. And what I would say, I think people, a lot of people, we talk a lot about geophysical work and geochemical work, and it's highly specialized. It's very complicated. I mean, I'm certainly not a geochemical engineer or a geophysicist, but the point of it obviously is to narrow down the target areas for the actual exploration drilling to maximize the chances of drill success. So this is a very important point for the Parametal model, because what we'd like to do is to undertake very methodical and cost-effective exploration to add value to our assets. So this kind of work is relatively cheap. I mean, the entire fieldwork program for the 10 projects that we're exploring in this season out of the 17, is in the sort of hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not in the millions of dollars. Exploration drilling, on the other hand, is much more expensive. So you want to make sure that you've got the maximum chance of success with exploration drilling, because the more of this kind of target identification you can do, the better confidence you have when you start to do the drilling, and the better chance you have of success. If you just poke drills into 1,000 square kilometers, your chance of success is quite small. So it's a very, very important part of the process, and something that we do across our portfolio, where we feel we are able to add a lot of value to our assets at this early stage. So we bring them to a point where we say, okay, now we've got these high quality targets, and there are now opportunities to crystallize some, or depending on which properties you talk about, some or all of that value for shareholders. So we could say, for example, with the uranium assets, some of the work we've done in some of the other properties will go into our planned IPO, which we're talking about at the moment, which is going to be called UEE PLC. We're undertaking a listing, hopefully in the London market as soon as possible. And in that particular case, a lot of work has been done. When we come to the IPO, we'll be able to show investors, we've gone from just a license area, which is admittedly highly prospective because it's in a great address, to high quality drill targets in these specific places, and these are the specific anomalies and so on, the indications that we've got, so we maximize our opportunities. So that's number one. In other cases, we may talk to other third parties about deals we can do with some of the other assets. Maybe that's, for example, strategic joint venture, where we maybe would go into a JV where we would share some of the exploration costs. There may be opportunities for other corporates to maybe buy some of these properties from us, but only at the point where, again, we've done some of this early work to show what we've got, which obviously, what this work therefore does is significantly increases the value for our shareholders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good to know. It's good to know, especially just, you all hitting the drill targets, within land you own and everything, and just understanding the whole process, because, it can get very complex. Like, I'm not a geophysicist or scientist or any of that, right? But it's good just to get a macro overview of what's happening and what does that look like. Recently, I think you've all were applying to be on the OTC market and such. And so are there any updates in that arena?
Yes. So we are in discussions at the moment with the OTC, with the exchange. And, we've been given some very positive feedback on that. And we are hoping that that's going to be over the line very soon. I'm hoping, that could be potentially next month. Now, I've got to be careful not to make promises here, because The rules are complex. We are obviously, we're the way we Power Metal are structured, is not the kind of necessarily the normal structure for a company seeking a listing on OTC. And there are one or two other factors that we have to navigate, regulatory issues and so on. But all being well, and assuming that we complete all those tasks, I would hope that we can be announcing that, in the coming weeks. So something that when we come to the New Orleans conference, which is the beginning of November, by that time, hopefully we will have, very good confidence that we're underway with that, and it'll give North American investors a much easier opportunity to invest in our shares. I know, all the ones we spoke to, when you and I met first time in at the symposium in Florida, a lot of investors said they had no problem dealing in a UK stock. They had the right kind of broker account, but some, for some it's more difficult. So the US OTC listing is a major step towards bringing our story to a new audience and giving North American investors the opportunity to buy the shares.
Yeah. Well, and again, I'll leave a description for a video that I did using interactive brokers where you can buy stock on the London Exchange, TSX, or wherever, right? And so, well, probably except Russia, and you all know my story there. but yeah, so where you can buy these shares on the London Stock Exchange. So I'll be sure to link that in the description below. I mean, and to be honest, Sean, like after our last interview, I've had people message me asking how to get on the London Stock Exchange. I was able to direct them because they were interested in buying some shares, as well as people that already had access. They were really advocating for Power Metals, and so it was pretty good. I was like, okay, yeah, there's people that's paying attention and people that wanna invest in this company.
Well, that's really great to hear and very exciting for us. And I know, we work hard to get our message right and to bring it to as many people as possible. So I'm very grateful to you for telling me that. And I should also say, we're open to any conversations. If anybody wants to contact us, very happy to do a direct call with anybody who would like to. We're really passionate about what we're doing here. We really think that we've got a fantastic asset set, not just in uranium. We've got great assets in Africa, Australia. We're making a big move potentially into Saudi Arabia and Oman. There's a tremendous amount of inherent value, which we don't think is reflected in our share price, as it is the case for a lot of juniors at the moment. Obviously, it's a very tough market, and we think that when the turn of the market comes, which inevitably it will, because it always does, we think we're in a position to make people a lot of money, because we really do have excellent people, excellent projects in excellent locations, and a very, very passionate team working very, very hard to deliver those results.
What was so like, just really quick, just because piqued my interest. So the project in Saudi Arabia. So what was it like? Because you're having to work with governments, and in different places in the world. Obviously, when people get into like exploration or mining companies, people look at jurisdictional risks and things like that. But it seems like Saudi Arabia is I would think that they are, a safe jurisdiction and everything. So what kind of does that look like, the relationship with the government and such?
Sure. Well, 100% right. I mean, it's a great place to do mining. So a couple of things. I mean, first of all, the Saudi Arabian government is very, very committed to building a thriving mining industry. So they have what they call their Vision 2030, which is a strategic vision which has been set in place by the Crown Prince himself, and it's designed to create new pillars of the economy and to really create economic growth, strong economic growth outside of the traditional oil and gas model that obviously has powered their economy up to now. So there is a huge impetus to do it. We were very strongly welcomed by the government officials that we met. So we went to 2 different ministries and 1 or 2 other sort of government bodies, quasi-government bodies, and in every case, the message was, we want overseas investment into Saudi Arabia. We want expertise. We're very keen to issue licenses. We're very keen to help you set up a business here. Whatever corporate activities you need to undertake, we're here to help. And we got a very, very positive and very strong response. So first of all, that's the government side, and and they we're also, I should say, we're going to what's called the Future Minerals Forum, which is going to be in Riyadh in January, and that's going to be very well represented, obviously, by the ministerial level there. And they were all saying, look, when you come to that, make sure you come and see us, make sure you connect, and we'll make introductions for you and all those kind of things. There's a very, very business friendly, mining friendly attitude, which is obviously fantastic to see. So that was number one. But we had a lot of meetings with potential partners, so people that either have mining licenses where we could potentially come in as potentially a joint venture partner and to help with exploration. We also met with one or two sort of family office investors or family businesses who have historically made their money elsewhere in the economy and are now looking to be part of this strategic vision, the 2030 vision, and are looking to get into mining, but would like to partner with somebody, hopefully us, who can help to deliver all the technical expertise and the project management experience that we can bring. So we had a really, really good week, lots of really positive meetings, lots of follow-up, and we're hoping that we can make announcements soon on partnerships and opportunities there. But it's no kidding, it's going to be one of the world's great mining jurisdictions going forward. And I think when we met, you and I, we both saw Robert Friedland, didn't we, at the symposium, and he was talking a lot about Saudi Arabia and the opportunity there. And he certainly knows his mining. So we're in that opportunity, and we think that it's going to deliver a lot of value to our shareholders.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that as a shareholder. This is a financial advice, but I am a shareholder of Power Metal Resources. So anything else you want to share before we wrap up today?
Well, I think just really generally to say, that capital market conditions are difficult, okay, and we appreciate that, and share prices they react in funny ways in these kind of phases of the market. Sometimes you put out good news and the shares don't react very well, and what have you. All I really want to just get the message across to people is, look, the work is continuing. Okay, we're working very, very hard to deliver on our objectives, and we're doing what we can do, which is to carry on exploring, to carry on looking for optimum capital structures for those businesses, for the group overall, and continue to deliver the results. And the announcement that we put out this morning is a really great example of our business model in action. We've undertaken an exploration program, we've added value, we're now in a position to think about crystallizing that value, and that's what I really want to get across to people. So it's great to be on again. As I say, we're very keen to share our information, and I very much look forward to seeing you in New Orleans in, I guess it's 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that time too. Hopefully we able to catch up then and everything, and so looking forward to it. And so, well, Sean, appreciate you coming on, and thanks for sharing these updates with the audience.
Thank you very much, Darren.